Hello, hello, hello. It's Christine Bertram coming to you live from the Hive with Bigger Tigger. He got here first, so he said he was not moving his meat, but he's like, Mom, if you can sneak in here, you really don't have my permission, but you can still sit here. So eventually he'll get annoyed and he will probably leave. But that's all right. I think the other two are floating around in here. Yeah. They're on chairs. Or Hunky's on his boxes down there. That's where his favorite spot, we learned, is.
Oh yeah, he is.
Oh, you guys. Yep, right there. We nonstop here. You guys know no grass is growing around our feet here. I've got girls. We're kidding. What we got? Ink, paper, scissors kitted. Yep. Yay! We're just about ready to start kitting for Let's Just Stamp. And did I? Yep, I'm live. Okay, just wanted to make sure. I've got Gloria was here. She's helping me work on Palooza stuff, and Shelly's here working on Palooza stuff, and Judy's here working on Palooza stuff, and I was on the phone with Amanda just helping get situated on class registrations. I've got Jolene helping me work on creating the events for February, and so it's no rest for the weary, you guys. So let's just see here. Who's all with us? I did have it pulled up on my phone, but it was spinning and spinning and spinning. So let's just see here what I can do to get our comments up here, because I know that I'm live. It says that I'm live. Yay. Okay, there it is. Perfect. Hi, Patty Wright. Glad to see that you're here with us. Yay. Hi, Sherry Ott. And there's Debbie Gast. 6 more weeks of crafting because the groundhog saw his shadow, right? Yeah, I guess you could say that. That sounds good to me. Hi, Sue Esworthy. And there's Donna Grushke. Hi, Connie Moore. Ohio's Buckeye Chuck predicted an early spring today. Oh, okay. I guess I'll still be crafting all year long. Hi, Catherine Healy. And Woodstock Willie predicted early spring as well. He has been right 60% of the time. I was looking at my news feed, and the Puxatawny Phil, I think, is right 35% of the time. Hi, Kimberly. And there's Linda Kester. Hi, Anna Rebidu. Maybe Tyler turned the internet off again, right? He didn't. Oh, man. I was on the phone with Amanda until probably 5 to 1. And I came out here, and then there's always lots of questions going on while I'm away for just a little bit working on stuff. Hi, Cindy Bassett. And there's Gloria Moore. There's Sharon. Hi, Donna Rose. And there's Randy. So sorry to make you guys wait a little bit. There's Mitzi. And hi, Sue Deppis. And Sarah Mitchell's here. Yay. Hi, Mary Novak. Okay. Well, gang's all here. We have a share a recipe, create a card, inspire others. And thanks to Connie Moore, we have a card to work on today. And I think she's the only one that I have one for in my possession. And if anybody else wants to send a recipe card in, you can definitely reach out to me and I'll send you a recipe card. And she had two sides plus one here. And lots of cardstock. I looked it over and read it a couple times, and it's called a double panel fun fold. So I believe after reading everything in my head, it's a card that lifts up, and then a card inside the card that lifts up, and then your bottom part. And I think we've done a card like that for fun fold. So I don't think it's gonna be too crazy, and I think you guys are gonna absolutely love it. Hello, Penny Powell, my sunshine friend. You finished your Wounded Warrior cards from 2024. Yay, you! Good job, girlfriend. I love it. So I have her card here that I can show everybody when we're done. If you guys do want to get a recipe card, just fill out the form on my website. So if you go to my events calendar and go to today's date, you'll see that there's an event today, not there, but here. One of the first things under here is, not that here, but this here is takes you to the registration form to get a recipe card. And I mail this in the mail to you. I'd pop it in the mail so that you guys can fill that out instead. So if you do fill this out, it does not hurt to tell me. I don't get a lot of people that fill out this form, so I don't go looking in it every day, not even every week, and not even every month. So if you do fill this out, it doesn't hurt to just pop me a note and say, hey, I filled out to get a recipe form, and that will prompt me to send this recipe card in the mail to you. So how Sue Esworthy, don't say buffering. We don't say that word around here anymore. And so it happened where last week people were like, it seemed like the whole communication was about that, and it just got all hosed up. And then we didn't say it the last class. After somebody said, I said, don't say it, not good. And then we were fine. And so it's all good. No buffering, no buffering. So my tablet is, I think from 2020 is when I bought it. So it's a pretty old tablet. And I'm not certain if that is the issue or not, but I did, while I was in Florida, I researched a little bit and Jenna helped me pick out a new tablet. So I made an investment to get a new tablet for up here. And it arrived, and on Saturday, I just haven't opened it and taken it out of the box yet. So I'm wondering if that might be the issue, but I don't have any buffering, so we're going to go with it. So hopefully no buffering. And if you guys do get buffering, just know if it becomes a pain in the butt, just stop watching and catch the replay, right? That's like, nobody needs to get stressed out over buffering, okay? All right, so I have some new products that I'm going to use today for Share a Recipe, Create a Card, Inspire Others. And this is the new product of the, well, it's not new anymore. There's going to be a new product of the month tomorrow, but this is the product of the month for January. It's called Fabulous Sayings, and that's what I think I'm going to use. And I believe the True Blues for December is still there, and then this Fabulous Sayings is the stamp set, and it is while supplies last. So even though a new one starts tomorrow for the product of the month, this one is still available, I believe, as long as there's supplies. And so I want to feature this stamp set today so you guys can see it in action. Kelly and I created a class called the Joyful Days Memories and More class, and we used all these different sentiments on it, so it turned out pretty cool. I actually pulled the Spotlight and Nature dies as well, and then the other new product that I pulled in that I want to work with today, you still have another set of recipe cards, and you're going to put it together. Perfect. So you guys, Connie Moore is the lifeline for this class at this moment, so go Connie Moore. When Mary Lemke arrives for the Leapers Crafting Retreat, I'm going to put it on her to create a couple of them as well, because she likes doing that too. So I pulled in here a new ribbon that's called Checkered Ribbon Trim, and it's in Misty Moonlight, and I pulled these gems, which are called Natural Matte Dots, and then this paper, which I think that I left the cardboard out in the other room. But in case we're curious about this new product, if you guys go to my website, which is cardsbycrispy.com, and you go to the resources section, underneath the announcements, there's a resources section, and underneath where it talks about the Beekeeper's Guide, it says online exclusives launching in March of 26. I put a form out here already. Hi, Chris Niebaum. I put a form out in my website already for the online exclusives product list, and so you guys can already see this. Now as a demonstrator you can pre-order, but as a customer you need to wait until March to order. And I know you can't see this on my phone very well, but just know that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 new suites that are launching, plus a whole bunch of other things. So I pulled this designer paper right here, which is from a suite called Delicate Dreams Suite. And that's where that set of gems comes from. And the ribbon that goes in this one, though, is different. It's actually a grayish color, and it is actually gray granite. Yep. So I grabbed this checkered one. I don't know why I grabbed that one, but I just grabbed that. And that actually goes with this suite called Homemade Sweetness. So if you guys want to see what's coming out on the horizon with new products, that is in my website that you can pull that form, and you can print it or you can just look at it from an online status. So just I want to remind everybody too that today is the last day that you can earn bonus day coupons. So for a $50 order here in the States, you get a $5 bonus coupon, and you can start using those bonus day coupons tomorrow. So I just thought of that now. Yeah. So you can definitely start earning one more day. It was really nice. I was talking to Jay Shante about it this weekend. I said it was really nice that they didn't end it on the 31st, which was Saturday, and then have us start using them now, because I forgot about putting an order in for myself on Saturday, and I would have missed out on the bonus days, and I remembered to do it this morning. So I'm like, yay. So I still got my bonus day coupons because that's through today. Okay. So hello, Deanne Dawn, joining us here. I love it. So this recipe card has a whole bunch of paper. We have a card base, an accordion cardstock here, and then some more mats. And then we have for the inside of the card, for the inside of the card, there's just lots of stuff. And then on the back side here, we've got 4 different patterns of designer paper or pattern paper. And what she noted on the side here is you can use less than 4 if we want to. So I'm trying to think how it's best to figure out what paper I'm using because I haven't thought that far ahead. But what she says here is cut all your cardstock mats, burnish the base card and the smaller inside card. And she tried to explain the measurements where each mat will go. So glue each of the mats to the corresponding cardstock. And I think once you do this, it will be easier to see how this card glues together. Next, glue all the DSP to the coordinating cardstock mats. And then she color-coded to help me. So you can see here she color-coded this different colors here. So, and then this is color-coded. Look at the, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I did photograph these. So if you're looking for this recipe card and you want to see where it's at, if you go into the events calendar for today, which we were just in, if you click on the class and you scroll down, I did add pictures here of her recipe cards. So when we talk about the color coding, I've got that. You can see that in the picture. So you can save these pictures. I've also put this in the email that I sent, and I also put it in the Facebook event. So she's got this color coded that this is for the inside of the card base, and it glues with this designer paper here. So this one is a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then the coordinating paper, the pattern paper, is a little bit smaller. Okay, so we've got 4 stages of layers, and I picked this one because I wanted a designer paper that was relatively cohesive in nature. And what's really cool is this is very cohesive with that, right? So the front and the back, it goes really nicely together. So I like that. Now this one has a foil, so it's a specialty paper, and you can see there's a foil-esque that you can see that. You can see the foil going in there. The back side is your gray granite. Now I'm gonna stick with the natural crumb cake color, so I'm not gonna take this sheet. This one was super pretty. Now I'm not such a big fan of the squares with what I've got going on because I think that will be distracting, but it is very possible I could use this pattern, so I'm gonna leave this one here. Then there's a secret C with that foil again. That could work. I don't see why it couldn't. And let's see the back. Now, I think that this is very distracting compared to what I've got going on. So if anything, I would maybe use that one. So we'll leave that out as a possibility. Here is one with the crumb cake featheries going on. It's all right. That could work though. So that's a possibility. So we'll leave that sheet. And then my favorite one is here. I definitely want to figure out how we can maximize this with the most being seen. And then we have a little bit of green going on. So I'm trying to think here. Like I'm going to set these sheets off to the side because I'm not, oh, look at me here. Is this my pack? Yes, it is. Haha, delicate dreams. I had it off to the side. So this is a card, and then there's a card on the inside. Where did I put the recipe card? Right there. Okay. Hi, Mary Lemke. So what I'm envisioning is that you have a card base, right? And she's got it that we cut off a little bit. So what I'm envisioning is that this is the card, and then there's a little bit at the top, and it flips up like that. And then how I gathered it is there's a designer or a pattern paper that goes across the top that would coordinate with one that goes on here. So we want 2 that kind of go nicely together. And I think that the card base needs to coordinate nicely with both of them. And there's actually a base and then a mat and then the DSP. And so I'm thinking that these 2 might look really nice on the front, and they could mat with, let's see here. So just to get an idea here, if the crumb cake would look nice. Let me grab a Misty Moonlight sheet too. I only grabbed Secret C. So let me grab Misty Moonlight here and see if I like Misty Moonlight better with it. Yep, I like Misty Moonlight a little bit better with it. It's a little softer and brighter. Hi, Mary. Oh, I said hi. So Mary Lemke, I signed you up for, I need some more recipes. So when Mary, you're here for a Leapers Crafting Retreat, I'm going to expect for you to help me with some, getting a couple recipes so I'm staged for a few months. All right. So I kind of like the gray or the crumb cake here on this. And then this could get matted on potentially crumb cake as well. Or it might look good on Misty. But I'm liking this for the front of the card. And then there's another for the inside and outside of the card. So there's the 2 3/8 by 4 1/8 is a flap at the top. I think that's what I gathered, that one. And then for the inside and outside of the card is a 3 by 4 3/4. That's the one I think is going to be a focal one. And I'm picturing that being this piece where it's front and center. So we've got these patterns. And then there's one that goes on the back for the inside of the card base. And so what I'm trying to figure out is what color my card base is going to be, right? I think I'm still leaning towards Misty Moonlight. And I think to tie in, we might even just use this one twice. It is really pretty paper, Debbie. Totally agree. It's really pretty. Now I do like this one too. And that could potentially mat. So for now, what I was trying to understand is what are my bases and mats going to be? And remember you guys what Naughty Nance would always say, it's just paper. So if we cut it and we don't like it and we want to switch it around, we can do that. So I'm gonna attempt to do this base in Misty Moonlight. And it says it's 4 1/4 by 10 3/4. So let's get our 4 1/4 first. So we're cutting this in half. And then we need 10 3/4. So let's go to the 10 3/4 right there. Okay, so 10 3/4, right? So that's just a 1/4 inch coming off. Now what it says on here is on the long side, cut off 2 3/4 and save it for later. So we did 4 1/4 by 10 3/4. So that's what we started with. And now on the long edge, so this is our long edge, you're going to cut off 2 3/4 and save it for later. So we're going to take 2 3/4 here, and it doesn't matter which. I already cut off on this side, so I'm going to keep cutting off on this side. So cut off 2 3/4, and you're saving this for later. Okay. So now we have this piece that says score it at 5 1/2. And so ultimately the measurement is 4 1/4 by 8. So if I measure this, I am at 8 inches, and I need to score this at 5 1/2. So making sure you're scoring and not cutting. So the lighter blade for here at 5 1/2. Right, so now we have our traditional A2 size card that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, so that's one thing. I'm just gonna go ahead, I like to burnish things right away, so that's burnished. So then we're gonna have a smaller card that goes on the inside, and it says this is a small inside card. And it's 3 1/4 by 10, and you scored at 5, right? So what it is this is gonna flip up, and then we have another one that's gonna open. And that one, if I was looking through this ahead, I was studying a little bit, I feel like I want this pattern paper to be the one when you open it up. And for matting purposes, I want to see if crumb cake looks better behind this, or if, oh, that looks nice. And then we would have blue. Okay, so I am going to keep this little card on the inside also as Misty. So my 2 card bases are going to be Misty. So this says it needs to be 3 1/4 by 10. So bring this back out, and I'm going to use the other half of this paper, and we're going to do 10. And it's by 3 1/4, like this. So I'm going to leave these as scraps. And then it's scored at 5. So let's put that back, set this up at 5, and make sure that you're scoring. Okay, I'm gonna burnish that right away. Okay, so this is gonna end up in the inside. And so this is gonna flip up, and then this is gonna flip up, and then that's gonna flip up. We got a lot going. And maybe this is glued. I guess I don't remember reading ahead what happens with that. But we've got a card and a card. So we've done the first 2 pieces here. And now we need mats for the insides and the top. And I feel as though crumb cake is probably gonna be the best color option for all of what we've got going on here. So I'm gonna grab this crumb cake, and we need a 4 1/8 and a 4 1/8. I'm looking at to see how I can maximize cutting this. I feel like 4 1/8 is best utilized cutting it this way. So I'm gonna cut down almost the middle. So this is 4 1/8, and we need one that's by 5 3/8. So I'm gonna flip it this way and do 5 3/8. Okay, so that says it's for the inside of the card base. I believe that that will go right here. And then we need this, I'm gonna skip and go down to this 4 1/8, a 2 3/8. Okay, so I know this is 4 1/8, so I'm gonna do 2 3/8 here. And it says that this is for the flap on the card base. So this flap to me is this right here. So, and I kind of worked ahead and, oh man, oh, I got a scissors right here. I was gonna say, I almost don't have any scissors here. So I got a little tail hanging on the end here. So let's get that off. So that to me is the flap of the card base. So that's gonna go there. Then there's 2 pieces that are 3 by 4 3/4. And I need another one that is 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. So this isn't gonna work because it's 4 1/8. So that's not gonna work. So let's just see what I got here. So I need 2 that are 3 inches and 4 1/4 and 4 3/4. So I have here, this is 4, this could be the 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. So we're gonna cut this at 2 1/2 this way. And then we need it to be 4 1/4. So we have to cut a little 1/8 inch off. Right, so there's that. And now I need 2 more pieces. I'm wondering, that must go for the top there. Okay, so I need 2 pieces that are 3 by 4 3/4. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it out of this because this is, I don't think this is 4 3/4. It's 4 3/8. So I'll get 1 out of here. So it needs to be 4 3/4. And again, I might have to rearrange some of this coloring, but 4 3/4 by 3. All right, so I have some scraps here, and I believe that this is for that. And then I need 1 more piece of crumb cake. Let me grab from my drawer a crumb cake. Maybe I have a small scrap. I do. So we need 4 3/4 by 3. I should have just used that piece. That would have been perfect if I didn't know that was like that, but there we go. So there's a 4 3/4 by 3. So we've got the 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. We've got 2 that are 3 by 4 3/4. We have the 2 3/8 by 4 1/8, and we have a 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. So it says here, this is for the small piece you cut from the card base. This for the small piece you cut from the card. This piece will eventually be glued to the front flap of the card base. And you know what? That might be what this is right here. Ah, okay. Well, I've got these pieces. We'll figure it out as we go. These, I think, are scraps. And let's see. I think the main thing is getting the paper kind of laid out, and then we'll go for it. So this is for the, so we need a 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside of the card base. So it's gonna go, it's saying it's orange, so it mats on this. And I think I'm gonna have 2 choices for paper. I'm either gonna use this with crumb cake, or I was gonna use this one. So I'm indecisive about that at the moment. So I think I'm gonna skip it. And I'm gonna go to the next one that says 2.5 by 4.25 for the front of the inside smaller card. That is the one that I had picked this out for it. So 2.5 by 4.25. So instead of cutting the whole sheet, what I'm gonna do is 2.5, and I'm gonna go down to 4.25, so right about there, right? And then this way, I'm gonna flip it that way, and I'm gonna go to the 4.25, and from that line, I'll go up. So I just notched out the piece versus cutting it off and ending up with two pieces. Now I could still utilize this or utilize that. So this piece mats with green, and the green was a 3 by 4.75. So one of these guys, right? Did I cut that right? I think I cut it wrong. It's supposed to be 2.5. Did I do 2.5? Oh, I did 2.5. Oh, it goes with a mat. And it goes with a 3 by 4.75. Maybe it's got that big of a mat. And then that goes here. We're gonna go with it. We'll see. Okay. This one now, this front flap has a mat of 2.25 by 4. Now this front flap, I pictured this one. So we need a 2.25 by 4. So there's no direction to this really. So we're gonna do 2.25 and have it go down to the 4. And we'll go this way, the 4. And we'll go down to the cut line. Hi, Sherry Martin. Hi, Karen Wetstein. I love the DSP too. For those people who love blue, you're going to absolutely love this designer paper. All right, so this is what will go up here. All right. And that will go here. Now, I have a hard time with little margins. If you guys know me a little bit, a lot. I am dry fitting this, and I don't see a lot of blue or a lot of this. So I'm at the point where when I've got this all mapped out, I might just trim hairs off so that I get a little bit more of a margin like that, right? So I'll figure that out in a moment. But I've got that. Then there's another designer paper. It says 2 3/8 by 4 for the small piece you cut from the card base. So this is the small piece we cut from the card base. And I believe that that's gonna go on that. And it goes with a 2.5 by 4.25, which was supposed to be this 2.5 by 4.25. And I think maybe it goes like that, but I need to maybe trim that off. I'm still figuring that out. But we need a piece of designer paper to go on the front. The piece that I thought about for the front was going to be this one. Okay, so 2 3/8 by 4. So we'll do the 2 3/8 this way. So there's no direction to this paper either. And then we're going to go to 4, which is right about there. And then flip it this way. And we're going to do to 4. Okay, so that notched out. So that, is this the paper that has a sneak peek of a new in color ribbon? Well, that's a good question. Let me just look back here. It might, yeah, hydrangea hue. So crumb cake, gray granite, hydrangea hue, mossy meadow, secret sea, and bronze. Diane.
Yes?
My DSP sampler is sitting right by that box of Winter Creatives. Nope, nope. Turn around. Look at my hand. Right behind that brown box, right by your left hip. Is my DSP sampler sitting? Nope, on the other side of the box. Away from you. There you go. Yep. Thank you. There was a sneak peek already in designer series paper from in the sampler here. Connie says, I think I may have not matted that flap. It was so long ago when I made the card and I forgot to take a picture. That's okay. So there was a sneak peek already in the sampler here, and it had to do with this one right here, square snippets. So in the square snippets, they told us Golden Glow is part of this and Hydrangea Hue. So we left spaces here for anybody who got the DSP sampler that you could cut your own, whatever size this is. It's a 1 1/4 by 3/4 inch. You could cut your own when you get your own paper, but we didn't have access to it because we haven't been able to buy it. So, but that was a sneak peek in the square snippets. So, but yes, Hydrangea Hue is a new one, and Golden Glow is. All right, so I'm looking at this, and I think that the DSP size is correct, and I wonder if, so this is what Connie said, she doesn't remember if she matted it or not. So I'm believing that this, and if not, this is what I'm going to go with. I think I'm just going to shore that up a little bit and trim that, but I think that this goes on the front then, and then this one you're not going to really see, maybe you'll see matte back there. All right. What I have to figure out yet is there's a piece of DSP that goes on here, right? So I've got this, and now it's like, well, what do I want to see back there? I had talked about potentially doing this back there. So how we can figure out if that looks good or not is we'll go like this. And to me, it's kind of white, and it might look washed out. So I also had thought about using this side and having this continue, right? And that's what I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning towards this being the designer paper that matches down here, so it looks like a full mat. That's what I want to do. So, no, the horizontal flap. No, the horizontal flap. So Connie, I'm not quite understanding, like I've talked about a couple things now. These are the same size. I'm thinking that these are the same, they're off a hair, but this one fit really good here, right? So I think I'm generally getting it, but this one right here, it was the 4 by 5 1/4. Remember, I don't want to use that, I want to use this side. And so I'm gonna take off, I think right now, I'm going to use a chunk of this. So I'm going to do 4 inches here, and I'm just going to cut all the way off now. So I've got this sheet, but then I'm going to go this way and do 5 1/4. Right? So this one, this flips up, this goes in here now, and is there a white listed? I don't know if I necessarily see any white on here, but I believe that we're gonna need a white when you open this up. This goes like that, and then this is gonna go here, and we're gonna need a white for in here. And that size is 3, that one was the 3 by 4 3/4. Yep. So that horizontal flap, I may not have put a mat under the DSP. This one, you may not, oh, I get what you're saying. You may not have put a mat on, I get it. Okay. But I do like the idea. I understand what you're saying. No, Connie, perfect. I do like the idea of the mat. So I will rearrange as I need to, but that would make sense because so it's 3 by 4 3/4. So you probably don't have a mat listed there. Well, this says for the flap on the card base is blue, and then you have 2 3/8 by 4 1/8 for the flap on the card base. So you have blue and blue for the flap on the card base. It says that, okay, so on your card you may not have it. Okay, but we still need a white here. Oh, Tigger, buddy, you look so, it's like, Mom, why you gotta be like this and take my chair? That kitten though. So we had a 3. So we're gonna do 3. I'm gonna make it, you guys, I'm gonna do my 2 13/16 for a white. And it was 4 3/4. So I'm gonna go 4 9/16. Okay. And then that should be what I use for in here. That's good. All right, so what I'm gonna do, grab my purple pen. I don't see, Connie, where we have white on here. So we're gonna add a white. Oh man, that is a crunchy pen here. We're not gonna use that. We'll just use this guy. So we need a white. And I did 2 13/16 by 4 9/16. Okay. Can you hold the dark blue paper on the base bottom to see if that works? Just testing it. Can I hold the dark blue paper? Oh, on the bottom. Okay, let's see here. Here's the dark blue. Okay. And what I think you're asking to see if it works on the bottom here. Just testing it. So this color is more of Secret Sea than Misty Moonlight. So it kind of clashes a little bit, but if it was a Misty Moonlight, it could definitely have worked. But I think I want to have it be a little softer and lighter. So I think all in all, we've got a good chunk of what's going on here. I'm gonna shore up a couple things for like what we say is dry fitting. I think that this crumb cake piece is pretty close. And maybe I cut something wrong, but this, I'm thinking, just needs a little haircut because the blue is 4 1/4 and by 2 3/4, and then this guy became 2 1/2. And I think that if this is 4 1/4, that this needs to be 4, which would put it right there. So I think I'm gonna cut this crumb cake down a hair and see if that helps fit into here. Right, so that should fit into there nicely. And then this guy, I'm just going to trim off a hair too. So if that was 2 1/2, I'm going to give it just a small haircut at 2 5/16. And if it was by 4, I'm going to go to 3 13/16. So then this should mat in there, and I'm going to see just a little bit more crumb cake. All right, so that is our top layer. Let's just check this out really quick. These fit, but again, Connie mentioned she might not have matted hers. So right now you see a small border around there. I want to see a little bit more blue up there. So it's 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. So I'm going to do, so if it's 4 1/4, I'm going to make it, I had it at 4 1/8, so I'm just going to cut a 16th off. And then here I'm going to cut it like a 16th off, right? So by doing that little bit, just now you see a little more blue around the edge, right? Then this guy needs a little bit of a haircut too. So this one was going to be at 2 1/8 then. A hair is coming off, right? So a little bit more than a hair. And then if this one was 4 1/16, I'm going to go to 3 7/8. I'm just trimming off little bits, you guys. Right, so there, I've got a little bit more of a margin, and then that will go on here is a little bit more, you see a little bit more. So now I feel like that's buttoned up really good. Now let's look at this guy, this one. I want to see a little bit more crumb cake, just a hair. So I'm going to cut off a 16th off of each side. So I think it was at 4, so I'm just going to do 13, 6. What do you need? Oh, no, I'm good. Yeah, I've got little greasy fingers. Thanks, thanks, Judy. This one was at 5 1/4, so I'm going to do 5 Yeah, I just wanted to see a little bit, you guys. So this is always up to your own eyes, right? If you like to see less of a border or more of a border, but I just wanted to see a hair more, right? Then we'll talk about this card inside a card. This mat was good. And for this guy, he seemed like he was a little bit smaller, but I think we could leave it and just leave more of a crumb cake border. And then here we've got that. So I think now I'm happy with all the measurements around. No, nothing was really off per se. I just wanted to see a little bit more. Yeah, the other one works better. Okay, so what she says here is cut all your cardstock and mats, burnish the base and the smaller inside card. She tried to color coordinate, which was perfect. Glue each mat to the corresponding cardstock. I think once you do this, it'll be easier to see how the card goes together. Next, glue all the DSPs to the corresponding cardstock mats, which she color coded. And then take the inside card and glue it to the inside of the base, placing it up at the top and center in right to left, and center it right to left. Then take the saved, let's read this. Then take the saved piece that was cut from the card base and attach it to the, oh yeah, this is right, to the flap on the card base, being careful to center it over the inside so it has an even amount of cardstock and mat showing, but not the DSP on the small card. Okay, so what she's saying is this was the piece that we cut off the card originally, and that needs to nicely fit over the top of what's underneath it. All right, so we got that set up, right? And stamp sentiments on the inside of the smaller card and on the front of the card. Use ribbon embellishments and Stella and zhuzh it up. All right, no, it wasn't on there, but that's what we say. So we are getting a little glue happy, right? So let's glue these two together and put them onto here. And we could glue these two and put them on the top. So definitely Team Blue is getting a dose for today to keep them happy. All right, so we're gonna glue 42 here. So our crumb cake is gonna go onto our Misty Moonlight. And then the designer paper can go on here. Right, something like so. And then this is for our top flap here. Like that. And then this one, I love, it's like a linen. So they have a lasting linen background stamp. That looks really nice. It'll go really good with it. All right, then we can glue these two. We'll wait on this. We'll glue this one. And we could glue these two. So let's get glue happy again. That. And then what we get to do is figure out what we want to stamp and add to the card. So that was our inside mat, and I left that seeing just a little bit of blue. Now I could have trimmed it, but now I've got glue on it, so I'm kind of committed. But I did trim this one so that you see a little bit more of the crumb cake mat come through. All right, and then one of these goes on the inside. And then this will go on the outside. And then this other designer paper, making sure if you have a directional pattern, you want to make sure you... So now that I'm thinking about it, there's this earthen metallic foil paper, and it has this color right here. I could see a mat of that behind here. Oh, man. Diane,
Yeah.
you want to get some steps?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Do I sound like it?
You're very convincing.
You know what I'm thinking though, don't you?
You don't want to.
No, I'm kidding.
No, I know you're kidding. You would.
You know
Up in my dormer window, right, where all the annual or the holiday catalog is,
dormer window.
the dormer window facing
Yep.
11th Street, there's a box of designer paper going this way, right? So it's like it's facing that way. There's some earthen foil, that bronze foil, that would match this.
Oh yes.
I'm just looking for a scrap this big, or bring the whole pack down.
Okay.
There's some sheets kind of right in the middle of the dormer.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
All right, so I'm gonna hold off because this if I matted this with some earthen foil, which is, I believe, still current at this day and age. Let me just look, because I want to try to make this card be a card. Oh, that's empty. So let's do this. So earthen. I think it's called earthen. Earthen. It's still there and it's not last chance. Yay! Okay. I think that that would go really nicely behind this and would help take a little bit of the crumb cake away. So let's just see, my ruler is right here. The size of this, oh man, my ruler is sticking to a magnet. Okay, this one was 2.5 by 4.25. So I'm gonna cut that mat just a hair bigger. But I think what we can do while we wait, what she said is this is gonna get glued in here, centered left to right, right? And it gets glued to the bottom. So we could do that. And you don't want to jam it up in the fold, but like get it all the way tucked up in here, right? And if you need to get the ruler to make sure you're centered, you definitely can. But when you shut this, you want to make sure that it's nice and snug up there. And this gap is a 1/2 inch, and this gap is a 1/2 inch. So I think we're good there. All right, so that's going to get the inside. All right, so I've got glue here, so I'm just trying to be very careful. So what happens is we need to decorate this and stamp some stuff, right? And I really wanted to use this fabulous saying set, which completely got buried. So let's just grab this and put that over here. This, that. Show you this. I love that sheet a lot. It's like my favorite. And then mix it with this. Or if you mix that sheet with this green, there was a green one. Oh, yeah, this guy right here. That with this, isn't that pretty? Oh, man. And there was this sheet that we didn't use, right? That's really pretty. Okay, so let's put you off to the side, and we found our stamps. Okay, I was thinking of using, so you have this front area, and this is going to get glued here to the front, right? Oh yeah, that looks so cool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna center that so you see, I'm so happy I did what I did. Okay, so you've got blue crumb cake, right? So perfect, okay? I think anyways. But we need to put something on here, and we're gonna see how this works. Did she find it? Look at you go, girl. Thank you very much. Look at that. So we have here this piece right here. Right, that'll look really nice on there. Okay, do you remember what I said? I think 2.5 by 4.25. So it needs to be a hair bigger than that. So 2.5 is going to be 2 3/4. We're gonna do a 1/4 inch bigger, so 2 3/4. We said 4.25, so we're gonna do 4.5. Let's just see if that will fit this. I got glue on here, so I gotta do it this way. All right, and then if we put that on here, yeah, awesome. Now, if you're like me or Mary Lemke, you have a hard time covering this whole piece of foil up. So could we be strategic and die cut something out of that? Right, that's the question. I only brought down these guys, and we could potentially cut this out of here. So let's think how we want to do this. There's a frilly one that has little petals kind of on the side, and then there's the other one that is the radiating the lines. And I think if we go to the next size bigger, like Tigger, it's gonna be too big, so we can't use the bigger one. I almost feel like that one's gonna be better because it will match the flower action that we have going on. So then the middle of that is 1 3/4. I think that 1 3/4 inch punch is not a current thing, maybe? Question mark? Oh, Diane. I wonder, I should have had you grab stylish shapes.
Okay.
Circle punch.
Oh, wait, what?
Wait, what? I'm just trying to see. Oh man, come on, circle punch. I wanted to see if I don't think the 1 3/4 inch circle is available. I think that it has, we have two. Oh, there's a 1 7/8. The 1 3/4 inch punch is current. Oh my goodness.
I have it right here.
Yay! Sorry, Tigger, did I wake you up? Oh, sorry, kitten.
There you go.
Yay, it's still current. I'm so excited.
happy
So,
about it.
I am so happy, and it's here. I'm going to cut this out, and then I'm going to punch this, and I hope that my thank you fits in here. So, no, thank you. Yes, it should. It'll fit close enough. All right, good, 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 good. Very good. Okay, Tigger. Sorry, buddy, did I wake you up because I got so excited? Yeah, Mom. You're so loud and obnoxious. Okay. We got this. And we're going to die cut out that, so we're not wasting the middle. Now, if you're Mary Lemke, you would probably go over here and then cut something else out right there. Right, Mary? I bet you would. I'm not going to worry about it right now because I don't know what else I would cut. Oh, I could cut out a smaller circle, but whatever. So we got this. And put this back down here. And whew, that was awesome. So exciting. This now, with foil, I don't generally like to use. Oh, man. Liquid glue. Yeah. How did you know that?
Let's see. I heard the foil and glue.
Yeah. So Shelly's got my tear and tape, actually.
Okay.
Shelly did have my tear and tape. I took it from over here to give to her to use. On the corner. Yeah, she read my mind. You're being a good Vanna White today, and you're even wearing white today. Nice. Okay, so with the foil, I like to use tear and tape, as Diane predicted. It just helps so that the foil doesn't kind of ooze up. It's just, I have a thing with liquid glue with foil, it just leaves a line and you can see it. So we're going to use tear and tape instead. And throw those away. This and that. Okay. That should fit nicely. Perfect. Just adding a extra mat there. And then this guy can get his glue. Well, so I'll be honest, you probably wouldn't have noticed the rising up of the bumpies because we're putting this over the top of it anyways. But anyways, so here we go. So pretty. I feel pretty, oh so pretty. Then we talked about this one. It's gonna go here. And that's perfect. So we gotta think about how we're gonna do, that'll go there. I'm thinking before I glue this down, I might put some ribbon at the top there. And this ribbon will look great with it because it's the Misty Moonlight. It's gonna tie it in. Then let's grab the thank you. No, thank you. And we're going to stamp this in Misty Moonlight on a white scrap. And let's grab this little guy. My pad took a digger because we did a lot of blending with it the other day, so I have no idea if this is going to ink up good, but we're going to try it. Cool, it worked. And then we're going to do white 1 3/4 inch circle. Just get that right about there. And then that's going to go here. And what else can we stamp in here? So there are more words. What else is in here? Thank you so much. Hooray, just because there are simply no words for this to fit. So we're going to go so much. How much? This much. And that will go on here. And let's grab, we need a flower though. I need a flower. Do I have any stamps? I do have stamps down here.
You have 1 or 2 stamps.
Just
down.
1 or 2. There's a basket of stamps. Diane's like, I don't know what she's trying to tell me.
Okay.
Nope, they're already, I'm gonna grab this basket right here.
Okay, you got it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
grab this guy.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So, I've got a basket of stamps. Now, if I was on my A game, I would have had the stamp set that goes with this stamp. What is it? Delicate something, dreams. But, so you see those pretty flowers. So, we could go with a leaf. Oh, I know, Lovely Arrangements has a leaf. This dude. Well, I think we'll use that. Okay, let's move this over there. And we need some mossy meadow. And we're gonna put a leaf. Whoa, hello kitten. Hi. Thanks for coming in and joining us now that we're almost done, Buttercup. Oh, I'm not Buttercup, Honey's Buttercup. Okay, whatever you say, Buster. I'm just here to rebel rouse Bigger Tigger. He's sleeping too much. Well, you know, we'd say the same thing about you, kitten. All you do is sleep your days away. Okay, come on, buddy. Nothing to see here, officer. Keep her moving. But, Mom, I can't walk anywhere. You got stuff everywhere. I know, buddy. What do you want? What do you want? I want love. Who's kitten sitting right now? Me?
Wait, what? What?
Hunky Noodle Boy
Noodle.
he needs some love in a box.
Come here,
Maybe.
Bubbas.
There you
I have a box for you.
Okay, thank you.
I won't even ship it.
No, don't ship me away. I didn't do it on purpose. All right, so we're gonna put a a mossy meadow leaf. Right? So one moment. I don't feel like cleaning ink up. So we're gonna put a scrapperoni. Oh, that's the stamp. Okay, you guys, this happened. You can't press too hard, otherwise it does that, right? Okay, so let's try that again. And not pressing that hard. Okay, so let that sit and marinate. Then we'll grab the Misty back out for our thank you. No, thank you. Misty. And so much. Okay, it's good. Now, this guy right here, though, I think it needs a little assistance. So what we're going to do is take the dauber. And I like to sponge the edges a little bit of things. Just to soften them, and it'll help it flow better. Okay, so that'll go there. I think that might be it for the ink. Hi, Jean Terwilliger. So we can glue this in, and I'm still assessing what I want to do with that. So that can go here. Okay. Now, I wonder what we could do right there. When you flip that up, it'd be, I'm contemplating, do I put that layer right here or just call it good? So this one's gonna go here. So that it sets like that. And what I had thought in my head is that we'll put ribbon across the top, and then we'll just set this in the middle. And I think just to keep it easy, we're going to cut this ribbon like that. Grab our tear and tape. So we want two weight. So I am not one that wraps around and then ties. I like to get my tails so that I'm gonna go right about here, that they're down on the back, nice and secure, and then tie my ribbon around it. So if this is gonna go right here, that's gonna go here. I'm gonna put my ribbon, let's say right about there. And one moment, I could have cut it just a hair longer. Let's try that again and center it better. So right there, like that. Okay, and then, okay. Then what we'll do is we'll get that glued down. So you have to be careful now when you glue this. You're gonna put a little at the top, and then I'm gonna put a little at the bottom here, so that I don't risk going over the edge. I'm gonna line this bottom up, centered on that. Okay, so make sure that's sticking good. Okay, and then I think what I'll do is glue that one flat and pop this up. So let's use a little tear and tape here. Hunky.
He's back.
No,
Come on, Bubby.
he's looking at me like, Mom, you abandoned me. Grandma Diane just let me be. Put this right about here. And then I think I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. Holy Moses, I think these are the first dimensionals we used so far. Thanks, Mary Lemke. Put the thank you right there. I'm so excited that that 1 3/4 inch punch fit. I have no idea. All right, then we're gonna take this. I don't know, something like that. I put it underneath. Tie that on here. Oh, so I think Rose Coleman would call that a faux bow. Right, and then you can trim that tail. And we'll leave that one hanging down like that. That looks good. Okay. And then we can do some gemsies. Gems are right here. These are cool because they have the blue and the green and the crumb cake. Very pretty. And white. Holy Moses. Really cool. Yeah. So now where to put them though? So I think I'm going to do a crumb cake and a blue one there, and then a blue one go right there. And then for Stella, you could definitely Stella flowers like this. There, and then on the inside here. Now, so this leaves you, if it leaves you wanting more, right? I wanted a really pretty pattern here so that it could speak for itself and it didn't really need anything else. But if you really wanted something else here, like a secondary message, you could, if you have like a secondary, something with thank you, like this says thank you, and then you open it up, it says so much, you could potentially have put the so much here, like have a little circle with a so much on it. And then I could have had I appreciate you so much, or you mean the world to me. Like you could have had another sentiment in here. So now that I think about it, but I thought that this was so pretty just how it is. So when you open this up and then you go like this, it's like, whoosh, boom, flowers, a flower garden. And then we've got the so much there. So I like it. I think that I am good with it, the way it turned out. Not hard either, right? Definitely a fairly manageable. We got to use so much. It's heavy, right? So I'm thinking this is going to be over an ounce if you go to mail it, but depending on what you do with your gems, it's pretty flat, right? And if you don't do a knot like this, so just be careful with the postage. And we got to use some of this new Misty Moonlight ribbon. If I would have pulled the Dream stamp, there's a stamp set that goes with it. I could have potentially used those for the flowers on the inside, but I used Lovely Arrangements instead. Misty Moonlight with some Mossy Meadow ink, and definitely pulled in, oh, that's drier than dry, pulled in the Fabulous Saying stamp set, which is what my goal was to do, was to use some new stuff. What, you want to see it? Yeah. Oh, you need tape. I couldn't understand what you were saying. Hi. What? Oh, the tear and tape. Ha ha. Okay, there you go. I can't read mouths. There's one thing I could never do. No, Michelle Foreign, she could definitely read your mouth. This is to do your sign language. Okay, so what do you guys think? Are you good with it? Liking it? I love it. So let's put this guy away. And we'll put you away. And let's open up Connie's card and see what hers looks like. Then she can remember what she made for us. All right, this can go back. I love these gems. I love that they're low profile. All right, so that gets put back here. This, you guys, I always like to cut this kind of stuff off so it doesn't get caught in my drawer. Okay, let's see what we've got in Connie's. So, and it's nice. She always puts on here the share a recipe, create a card, inspire others. Let's see what she's got. Oh, very cool. So she used, oh, what was the name of this paper? We did a stamp-a-stack on it. It was Florals of Florals. I don't know, Diane, do you remember it? This one.
Recently.
This one. It was January of last year, 2 years ago. Do you want to look over? It was this guy. Do you remember that paper? Fitting Florets, right?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yep,
I had to
yep.
see your face thinking about it, and then it popped into my head. Fitting Florets was the name of it. And so she used some of the designer paper up here for a flower. She's got Thinking of You, that white crinkle ribbon. I always loved that one. Oh, okay. So what she did is she had a more, so Connie, yours does have a thicker white border, just like I had. So that's exactly what, and it's nice. It shows it off your, it's like more of a picture frame look. And then you've got, just wanted to send some happy thoughts your way. So very good. And you did mat your designer paper up here. So there you go. All right. And you have yours. Perfect. So you have a little more wiggle room because you don't have a secondary mat here. But by adding that mat here, it's the same size as my Misty, so you don't see it either way. So yours is blue also. Yeah, very cool. Go Team Blue. And your gems, you ended up putting them on your label here. So really pretty. So very good. All right. Not too shabby for a share a recipe, create card, inspire others class. I think we did really good. Very, very good. We got to use some new product. We got to see some oldies but goodies as well. Use that product of the month stamp set. I'm excited to see what tomorrow holds for us for the new product of the month. There you go. Okay. And in this entire time, you guys, in case you were wondering what Bigger Tigger was up to, he's still sleeping like a little baby. Yeah, he's like, Mom, stop bothering me. I'm trying to sleep. Oh, yeah, we know. So he didn't move the entire time. We shared the chair there. And then I finally stood up and just stayed up. So awesome, you guys. Well, so what we're going to do is photograph these. Good job, Connie Moore. Thank you so much for helping us be inspired to make a pretty card. We love it. I will get these photographed and Kelly will share them on the Facebook event so that you guys can see them in the future and have always download the picture if you want to. Very good. All right. Well, so what's next? We're going to keep working away at things here in the Hive, and at 6 o'clock I'll be live with you for the Let's Just Stamp class. That is a makeup. So this class was a makeup from last Wednesday when I was still at the airport. And then share the Let's Just Stamp tonight is at 6. That's a makeup from last week. And then on Wednesday is our last makeup class. It's the Sweet Bundle class called Made with Love. So we do have the tutorial ready for Let's Just Stamp. I'm going to be working on getting that into your inboxes in the next an hour or so. All right. Also love your card, Connie. Good. Yeah, Connie's card was awesome. We're so happy that you shared it with us. Very good. Do you have any spots open for the Leapers Crafting Retreat? So Carmen Sanders, I did see your text message, and I haven't been in my computer since basically Friday night, and I need to check my spreadsheet, but I think so. Okay, so it's a tentative yes. Okay, just let me pull up the spreadsheet and make sure that I have everybody else logged in there that I need to, and that there was one spot. So I'm pretty certain. So sorry I didn't reply back to you, because I wanted to check before I replied back to you, but I think yes is the answer. So all right, well, from the Hive here, you guys, everybody say bye.
Bye.
Lots of sunshine and big loves to everybody. So you see that woke up Tigger. He's like, you guys are so loud. But you guys, we'll see you tonight. Love ya. Bye.